Good morning, everyone. I just wanted to talk to you. I was going to do an update yesterday, but to be honest, I couldn't get really good, clear signal, and it kept cutting out quite a bit. But guess what, guys? Together, we bought a building. And my wife keeps saying I made some mistakes, and she's probably right, but it's actually 16 acres, 56,000 square foot. And so yesterday we purchased it. We gave them the $101,000 down. Thank you so much for everybody that gave into it. Um, it was really a testimony. Even in the closing, I got to talk to the gentleman that was purchasing it for us, and it was kind of an interesting conversation because we were talking about hereditary traits, and we were talking about homeless because he was telling us there had been some homeless people in the building, and he was talking about a relative of his that had been homeless, and he always wondered because he was the only one of the relatives. And he made a statement. He says, but we look back in our family history and we believe it. Or maybe he was watching a documentary and he says, that's hereditary. And he goes, he said, so, do you believe that? And I said, well, I believe that there are things that are hereditary, but I also know that God gave every man a choice, and that we get to choose to be the man that we want to be. And that no matter what your heritage is, you can make a different choice. And then I said, for me, I became empowered to be completely different through the Lord Jesus Christ. And I talked a little bit about my testimony with my father. And I said, as I was growing older, there were certain things that I just hated the way my father did. And then I found myself doing those exact same things. And I had to make a choice. And it was the Lord Jesus Christ that empowered me. And after I got saved, that it became so much easier with that empowerment. And it was kind of a different closing, I guess. And thank God I've got a godly realtor that was such a blessing to us. And so the good news is that we have, and so he was sitting there, and he actually joined his faith with mine, and it was really an exciting time. But now the real work begins, right? We've got to, as quickly as possible, being able to start utilizing the building. We are talking about setting up we are going to start a church there. We're trying to figure out how the best way and the quickest way to do that. We're going to be doing some interest meetings there in Union, and then potentially for about, I said 5,000, but it's about $6,000. We can set up a tent, 100-person tent, and then have a porta cool generator to cool the tent. And then that way, and then get some porta potties, and we can begin pretty quickly to get having services on the building. But the first thing we got to do is get power. That's going to cost us about $10,000. For those of you who don't know, they ripped all the wiring out of the building, and $10,000 is not the complete energy package. It's really just to get us power to the building. That's having to install a new meter and all that. So be in agreement with us. Thanks you for everybody that gave. You know what I'm believing personally is that the money that you and I both gave, or Terry and I and you guys gave, that we will harvest off of that. And then the harvest will be so big that we will be able to finish this building supernaturally fast and pay it completely off. We still have a $250,000 note on it. It's going to cost us about $2,000 a month. Our insurance is going to cost us, I don't know, $500 a month, I think, maybe. And that's whether we're there or not. So just be in agreement, but I'm excited. There's plenty of room there to change people's lives for a new call center. It was funny because just yesterday when I was driving away from the closing, I saw a testimony about how the prayer team had called and said, hey, we want to pray with you, and about how it had really helped them. And we're going to be able to do that more and more. And thank you, partners, for being a part of that. You're changing lives all over the world. We love you very much. I just wanted to give you this testimony. We own it. It's ours. And now we've got to get started there and pay it off. And so join your faith with me. And I'm believing for our harvest, and we'll see you soon. Soon we can all get together there on that property and just rejoice over what the Lord has done. I love you guys. I'll talk to you soon. Remember, Jesus is risen. Victory is assured.